It's like
And
my dream come true.
Recording horny.
recording horny. And actual recording is in higher quality. Well, all right.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, look at us.
We're really turned on.
All right. So, hey, welcome back to another episode of...
Serving you.
I just like having you two say it together every time.
We're so good at that.
All right, new topic.
Matt's turn.
Matt's turn.
Yes, Lord Biscuit.
What is it? What's it going to be?
I don't know. What is it going to be?
I know, I'm salivating.
What is it?
You go, whisper as far away from the microphone as possible. You're great at podcast.
What is it going to be?
ASMR.
Okay, so this came to me when we were recording the last one. And actually, I think we even touched on it in the very first one.
You can't prove I touched anything.
I bet I
like
can.
when you touch
There are
on stuff.
4 cameras. There are 4 horny cameras in the room. That's an inside joke.
I just want to explain real quick. So when I was describing production to these two, I said we want to make sure the cameras are on. And in a production, you say camera has speed, camera has speed, camera has speed. And Matt said, so if the cameras are turned on, can we just say that they're horny? So now, when all the cameras are on and running, cameras are horny.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it fits us.
So something else that I won't be getting royalties for.
We have
but,
4 horny
yeah.
cameras.
4
Go.
horny
So we have 4
cameras.
horny cameras. That sounds like a song, like a Christmas carol. 4 horny.
I don't know what Christmas you've been at.
It's my kind of Christmas. It's way better than freaking ham and turkey.
Poor Carol.
You've been to my family's house for Christmas. You know what we do.
That's what happens in South Carolina.
That's right. So I'm like, okay, if the name of the podcast is Serving You, that means we're serving people.
I was just serving looks, but go on.
When were you serving looks?
My camera caught it.
Or were you serving looks, or were you serving looks?
Lukes.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about serving people.
Okay.
What are our feelings on serving people?
People are the
Because
worst.
you said in the first episode that sometimes it carries a stigma. People might look down on you for serving. But I want to talk about from my perspective, and then from y'all's perspective, you know, in your various industries, what does it mean to serve people? And how does it make you feel when someone, whether you're serving food, or whether you're serving health care, or whether you're serving loops, you know, how does it make you feel when people appreciate what you're doing and when people don't appreciate what you're doing? And I'll tell you where this came from for me. So when I graduated college, I fell into medicine. And at the same time I was in medicine.
If you're gonna fall, medicine's the best place to land.
Exactly.
They will
You're
take care of
surrounded
you.
by doctors and nurses. So I accidentally got into the medical field, and I've been in the medical field ever since. But before, I'm in clinical research now. Before I was in clinical research, I was in public health. I was in public health for about 5 years. And when I was in public health, I served the public. But I didn't just serve the public. I served people from communities that were uninsured or underinsured. So a lot of times my organization, well, the organization that I worked for, we were the safety net of the community. So for me, I took that as a huge honor of being able to serve the public. And a large part of what I did, I was a liaison between our organization, other organizations, and our patients. So if someone came in and they said, I'm having an issue with whatever, I can't pay my light bill, then I would say, okay, well, you need to go talk to so-and-so at this organization. They can give you, you know, what I would call bridge funding and, you know, help you. Or I don't have enough food this month. Oh, well, you need to talk to so-and-so at this organization. They
That's
have
really
like
cool,
a
Matt.
food bank. So for me, that was a huge honor, and I'm very proud of the work that I did when I was there. But then I kind of look at when I was actually serving people in a restaurant. I was not only serving food, but I was also serving drinks because I was a bartender. There were those people that really appreciated what I was doing and what other people were doing, because especially when I was a bartender, you know, the bar looks out, it looked out into the entire restaurant, and I would kind of see all the interactions going on. So I would see the people that truly appreciated what we were doing for them, and then the people who didn't give two shits about, you know, that you were busting your butt trying to make sure that they had their margarita or their fajitas or whatever. So what's your thoughts on what it means to actually serve people?
I think that depends on your own mindset. So in the healthcare, when you were the liaison, I think you got customers or clients who needed you. In a restaurant, people don't need you per se. So sometimes you get that attitude from your customer where I'm beneath you as a server and I'm disposable and, you know, you're gracing me with your presence. And then other people come at you with that sense of gratitude and appreciation, and they're happy that you're there because they don't want to cook for themselves or they want a good conversation. So really, I feel like almost the tone is set from the customer. You know, how do you come back at me when I approach you? And that's what I'm going to follow. Because it's really easy to show appreciation and gratitude even though I'm just serving you. It's not a hard thing.
I go to two sayings. One I came up with, but one I did not. One is the classic saying of the worst thing about customer service is the customers, which is not always the case, but can be.
That's fair.
Which, and if you listen to that adage, service is not the problem in that. The serving is not the problem. And then I remember when I was working at the fine dining restaurant, nice little 4-star restaurant, I was, somebody needed me to go out to a table, and they were like, Jeff, you're a server, you serve them. And I said, I'm a waiter, they can wait for me. And,
That's funny.
Which I was super proud of saying in that moment. But
So witty.
I do think that, yeah, a server comes from servitude, right? So immediately it can class you if you think of it in that, you know, you pointed out in a previous episode that you take it as a nurturing point. But if people look at it in a class system, then you can look at it as the servitude is putting you a step under somebody else.
And now I'm a servant.
Yeah.
I'm not a servant.
And those words can find their way into each other's meanings, whether they're meant to or not. And I think that is the problem with it. So I looked at it, and it depends on where I was. I liked creating experiences when I did work at Beaks, which was a neighborhood bar and grill, that the neighborhood came in. I also felt like I couldn't be fired. And when you have that feeling at a place, it can be problematic. So
problematic.
I would very much have my personality come out a lot, problematically a lot. That sometimes people would be upset. Sometimes people would bring their mom in the next day and be like, he's the bartender that called me a whore. And I was like, and you came back? I don't understand what's happening.
Some people love abuse.
But they love that.
Yeah.
And then on another side of it, I will say when I worked at the resort on the beach, the service side of that, I tried to instill in everybody that worked for me or worked with me throughout my years there, that we have an opportunity for anybody here to create an experience that they want to come back or share with their, you know, a lot of these people that were going to that resort came as a kid, because the resort's been there since 1928 and through its many different iterations. So maybe they came as a kid, they had such an experience that they're now bringing their kids there. But that experience they had as a kid was caused by somebody in customer service. It wasn't just caused by the resort. Somebody created that experience. So I try to remind people that every day in that moment, you had the opportunity to create that moment that was going to stay with somebody.
Experience.
And, you know, and it's not, I'm not putting too much pressure on everybody, like, you're going to make or break their whole time here. No, but it's like, if you think of it that way, then the servitude in that is, you're kind of serving a greater thing. You're serving somebody's memory. You're serving somebody's vacation. But that was also a vacation type destination. So, you know, it depends on the industry. It depends on where you're at. That I think that server part maybe changes a little bit. And I don't know if it should or if it's fair that it does.
I think that's fair. So I've worked in all different types of restaurants.
Yeah.
I've done corporate. I've done mom and pop. The one I work at now is mom and pop. And we have a really solid core clientele. And in that situation, you do build relationships
Yeah.
with people. And you don't really you get some like transients, they're just passing through town, they want a good meal, they come in, they leave. But a lot of us, it's the same people almost every day or every week. And you build a relationship with them. And like I've taken my serving to a point where I've created lifelong bonds and friends. I mean, You're one of them. You're kind of a sidekick, sorry. But Matt's my man.
I'll be a side piece friend.
Okay, thanks.
Not
Sorry.
the first
At
time.
least you know your role, all right, Jeff? But I've made lifelong friends because of that position. And I think, too, how do you approach a table as a server? Is there love in your heart? Or are you looking at these people like they're just, fucking pieces of shit, excuse my language, who are there for 10 minutes, you might or might tip me, and now you're gone. And that's where you lose that connection.
Yeah.
And our society is going so towards a computerized, mechanical, distant, nobody connects with each other anymore, that I love serving. I'm college educated. I have a bachelor's, I have an associate's, I have a trade degree from freaking P-Tech. I've got all of that. But man, I like serving because of that connection, because I meet people. And if I make one person stay better, then I've done my job, you know?
I think it's great because you don't look at every table as transactional. I think that's what a lot of servers do, or a lot of servers can fall into. And Matt, I'll let you speak on this because I've heard you talk about it, but I know there are times, just having been in the industry for as long as I have and having been in the industry as you had, I've heard you say multiple times, there's times that you kind of miss it. There's almost a sense of nostalgia and kind of a missed, I miss the interacting with people. Now, in my current job, I do get to interact with people some, which is great when they come up after a show or something and talk to me after a set. And I have a different type of interaction with them now. But there was something real about building that connection real time with the table. And, it's an hour relationship that you have with them, but it can turn into, an hour relationship that's recurring over, many years and so on.
Because then you have the same people come and ask to sit with you. It helps if you're in a local establishment. Like I said,
I like the mom and pop places.
I worked for Outback, I worked for Applebee's.
I also worked for Applebee's.
Yeah, you get a different clientele in those kinds of places, especially Applebee's. Those were not nice people that ate there.
I worked at an Applebee's in North Carolina.
Oh God, I worked in an Applebee's on 4th Street.
Boy.
God, it was not those people that went there. They were not trying to be nice to you.
It is a different
clientele that comes in. It's just a different beast. Oh God. Oh, it's like PTSD. I just triggered. Sorry.
I will real quick on the Applebee's, then I'll go back to what I was asking you about. I was working at a country club in North Carolina while I was going to school there. Very fine dining, super fancy country club. And then I just got burnt out on the yes ma'am, yes sirs of it all. I just got burnt out on the steps of service. And so I left the country club and I actively applied at an Applebee's because I just wanted to sit on the bench with the table as they ordered riblets. Like I wanted to,
right.
Like I took the big swing in the opposite direction, and then I ended up leveling back out at a mom and pop place in Albemarle that was open, and I got what I wanted was to be me and still have manners, but it was less on either extreme. But I actively sought out Applebee's because I was here on fine dining, and I went, I need something else. So I went to the other side of that.
You went to the extreme other
and
side.
I was like, listen, I can take a knee at a table and just be like, what up, what you want? And still give good service because I'm trained in good service. My second week working at that Applebee's, corporate guy was in, and he was like, so what do you think about managing here? And I was like, I don't manage here. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, I've been here for 2 weeks. I was like, no, this is just an Applebee's, bro. Like, it's easy to look like a manager if you just have good posture.
Yeah, right?
I haven't been beat down by Applebee's yet. Anyway, we love you, Applebee's. Sponsor us.
Yeah.
But
I totally see that happening.
Brought to you by the Riblet. So, what is that anyway? Is that like from Piglet? Anyway,
It's not.
what you talk about, if you will, Matt? How many times I've heard you say, like you just would love to pick up a shift again, just to get that experience again. Why? Where's that come from?
I don't know. Have I?
You have said that. You have said that.
Have I said
You
that?
have said that.
Was I
yes.
conscious when I said that?
Were you drinking?
Yeah, was I drinking?
Heavily intoxicated.
I'll say this. I think I miss aspects of it.
Yeah.
I miss the people component, not the general public,
But the people
but
connection,
but
the personal
connecting with
connection.
people, and especially when I was a bartender.
Yeah.
Because I had my regulars
Mm-hmm.
that would come in and almost on a daily basis, and you get to know them very
You
well,
do.
and they tell you their
Especially
deepest,
to a bartender.
yeah, they tell you their deepest, darkest secrets.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a fan of that because then I felt like I need to do something with this information.
Just
It's
tell
hard
it to
to
the next
keep
one.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't do that. Sorry.
Don't use names. You can tell like situations.
But that's the part for me. It was the relationships.
Yeah.
And then, and again, whether it was when I was a waiter, whether it was when I was a bartender, whether it was when I was working in public health, for me, it was about the relationships and building those relationships and feeling like I was making a difference in someone's life. Now, whether that was getting them another basket of chips, or we were doing child checks, physicals. It makes like I was sounding like I was working for the Department of Children and Families, but no. A child check is basically an annual physical in a pediatric population.
I thought it was you look at a kid and you go, well, it's a child.
Hey,
Check.
That would be your well child check.
congratulations.
That's how Jeff does it.
Well, looks like a child to me.
Yep,
Check.
it's a kid.
So for me, it was all about the relationships, no matter what role I was serving, because nothing made me feel better than when a regular would come in and bring someone new.
Right.
To meet you, that meant a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
Or
does.
a
It means you're doing
patient.
it right.
Someone would come in or call on the phone to the medical office, and they would specifically ask for me, and they would say, well, I'm a friend of so-and-so's, and I was telling them I have this problem, and so I want to come in and see the doctor in your office. So for me, and it will always be about building relationships.
Yeah, they had that trust with you.
Yeah, with your clientele, whether your clientele is a table or a patient or whoever.
Even if you go to the grocery store and the girl doing your checkout, if you so choose that, you can still be nice, and not that you're building a relationship, but I think it's indicative of our society these days that we are indicative.
No. Oh, I have a, yeah. Go
Okay.
on.
I thought we were laughing at the word dick. I was like, wow, we're really disintegrating now, gentlemen. God. So I do. I think it's just indicative of our society that we are so superficial with each other. We don't see each other as individuals anymore, and nobody wants to be nice.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking hurt.
And going back to the whole relationship thing for me, now I am, depending on the store, I am a fan of self-checkout.
I am too, because it's a lot quicker.
Yeah, but there are
I am
times,
not.
there
Really?
are times
Yeah.
when I want to talk to a person. And there are also times, depending on if it's a place that I go to quite a bit, I don't mind getting in a longer line if it means that I'm going to go to a person that I've interacted with before.
you can talk
That
to
person
them,
might
yeah.
not recognize me, but I'm like, I had a good experience with him or her. They seemed to be genuinely excited that I was in, or when they said good morning, it sounded heartfelt. So still building on those relationships. And it's just like, when we go to the restaurant, everyone, if you're working, everyone knows he's not going to sit anywhere but in Melissa's section.
That's right. Back up, bitches. That's
right.
my table.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they say, or I say when you come in.
No, I was laughing earlier because you mentioned the checkout thing, and people do treat them differently, like very differently. And I remember I used to do a radio show with a friend of mine from broadcasting named Kevin, and not that Kevin, different Kevin. That means something to somebody. So we used to have this radio show, and I would come in with interactions because I was bartending at the time. So I'd meet people and interact, and they'd listen, and I'd try to sell some sponsorships and so on. In fact, my current neighbor used to listen to the show and whatnot.
Cool.
But Kevin used to complain all the time. He was like, well, you're a bartender. You get to talk to people, and people talk to you. He goes, he was a checkout at a grocery store, and he goes, I do checkout. When I try to talk to people, they're like, shut up and ring up my items. He's like, I don't get to make connections or conversations. And I was like, and it's so funny because it was such
Might be fair.
like, and this is going back like 20 years, but it was such like a line, like, people care when you talk to them because you're a bartender.
Right.
But I'm checking people out and they're like, why are you talking?
That might be
I think
real.
it's changed a little bit because I think when you're checking out, I do like the people. Like, I was getting meat and cheeses the other day, and, people are like, oh, you're doing a charcuterie board? Love charcuterie.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I was
They
like,
took interest.
yeah, and I was
Okay.
like, yeah, I am. And then also part of me was like, you're not my bartender. Shut up. No, I didn't.
Like, just ring my stuff up so I can go home.
But it is funny because it's, situationally, we treat people differently.
Yeah, it's mindset.
But literally, if I had spent the amount of time I spent in checkout, which, let's say 90 seconds, right? If I literally walked up to a bar and got a beer, and it was going to take 90 seconds, we're like, hey, what do you want? Hand it to me. And they were like, hey, so are you doing charcuterie for Thanksgiving? I'd be like, what a great bartender.
Yeah,
Thanks,
right?
Thanks for asking, man. You know
fair.
what? Here's the whole menu. But situationally, I'm like, why is this person
Yeah,
talking? Like,
that
it's
perspective.
it's so different. But servitude.
Indicative.
Situationally different. But I think going back to the topic of what was your topic?
Serving people. Yeah.
Serving people. I think at the humblest of positions, serving people is one of the cornerstones that helps society happen.
I agree.
Now, whether it is something as simple as working in the restaurant industry, the reality is that like people going out to restaurants or fast food or anything, all of those people are making somebody else's life easier. And so just serving people in general, people checking people in at a doctor's office, the people doing the exams, working in public health like you had done.
Yeah.
All of those things where you serve the community in any way, police officers, fire department, all of those, any way that you're serving a community is making it so the community has an easier time.
Yeah.
And I think if we, as the community side of it, if we remember that when we're interacting with them, maybe we can be nicer as a whole.
We can. I think the person giving the service should see their customer too as not just another number. It's so you want.
I think it's too easy to be transactional. Yeah.
It
This is my fifth table, which will put me at this
Yep.
much. Because I know when I used to be a server, like, because I was trying to get into comedy at the time when I was serving at the fine dining restaurant. So to me, I was like, oh, once I make $100 today, I could be cut.
Yeah,
Like-
I work with some girls like that.
Like, I don't
They're
need to
I
make-
made my quota. I'm
Yeah,
out.
I don't need to make 150. I made
Yeah.
100. I can go hit an open mic. I'm out. And that's not serving my team well. That's not
No.
serving the customers well. That's not
just
serving
self-service.
the hotel and the restaurant well. That is me thinking transactionally. Ding! I hit it. I can go. I'm done.
Yeah, you've already checked out mentally.
And that's not a good way because then all I'm doing is putting puzzle pieces together going, oh, this table, what are you getting? Okay, but if I can get you this instead, I can get this much closer to my goal. And that's not great.
No,
And that's not great. Oh, I'm going to write down a topic for another time.
yeah, that's pretty superficial.
But ultimately, yeah, I think serving the community, anything that serves the community, makes it easier for the community in their everyday life. I think that is a very important thing that I think as the community, we sometimes forget
Yeah.
who's making our lives easier on an everyday basis because we're so used to it nowadays.
And making our days better.
That's what it
maybe,
should.
Yeah, maybe in some instances you're not necessarily making someone's day easier, but you're making it better.
Yeah.
And I think, like what Jeff was saying, I think sometimes people lose sight of the fact that whether you're on the giving end of service or the receiving end of service, what can I do to make this person's day better? Giving them a refill, making sure that their iced tea is full, or like for me, if I'm the customer, giving a heartfelt thank you,
Yeah.
or putting my menu away when I'm ready to order,
Or just being aware, right?
just
Basically.
being aware. Yeah.
I'll talk on one example, and we can try to wrap this up. But I hate being the last one to do all the examples. But this popped in my head of just serving the community. and a general community thank you. When we were in San Francisco, we were in San Francisco for a month. We took public transit almost the whole time we were in San Francisco. I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but 90% of the people who got on and off the bus, every time they were getting off the bus, and I don't care what age they were, what race they were, what economic status they were, 90% of every single person that got off the bus said thank you to the bus driver.
And it's those little
And
things.
the
make
bus
such
driver
a
barely
difference.
looked up on, here's the thing, he may have heard 120 thank yous that day, never stopped somebody from saying thank you. And just being a visitor in that community and just made immediately, we're saying thank you every time we leave the bus. Because I'm not going to be the guy that doesn't say thank you, but also the first time I heard it, I went, oh, yeah, thank you.
Like, duh.
And so all that bus driver is doing is driving the bus, but that driving the bus is making it easier for us to get around, which is serving the community. So he is, in his way, servitude right there and serving people. And all we're doing is a simple thank you at the end of the day for it. But hearing, it just made me feel different about a city, hearing every single person almost appreciate that service.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It was
what a,
genuine.
yeah, what a great,
Yep.
that's what the world could be.
Yep.
And it's simple.
And I'll tell you when it really impressed me. Well, it impressed me the first time and every time that I heard it. But it would also really impress me when it was one of the longer buses where it's almost two buses put together and they're in the middle, there's this accordion style connection thing. Well, if you were a person in the second piece of that bus, there's no way the driver is going to hear you unless you absolutely scream it.
Right.
But that still, even though they knew that their thank you would not be heard, they would still say it.
Oh, wow.
And that
They were
stuck
thankful.
with me.
That's cool.
That still stuck with me.
Yeah, that's
Even
genuine.
I'm sitting there thinking, well, who are you thanking? He's not going. Oh, well, it doesn't matter who they're thanking.
Right.
They're putting it out there.
They're thankful, and that's what matters.
Yep.
All right.
Intention. That's
Look
what
at
it's
that.
all about, boys and girls.
Being thankful.
Intention.
Yeah.
All right.
Did
I
you
like
get that into camera enough?
Yes.
You want to hit it one more time?
I wanted to exclamate that. Intention. Matters what's in your heart.
Well, it absolutely
It's real.
does.
Well, that's another good episode.
Yay.
Yeah.
Thanks
All right.
for joining us.
All right. So am I gonna
Serving you next time.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap everything up.
Wrap it up.
All right. So we will see you next time when we will be
Serving
you.